I can tell you, I'd much rather have Pete Buttigieg than J.D. Vance.
I think the people whose ancestors fought in the Civil War have a hell of a lot more claim over America than the people who say they don't belong.
What do you think about that?
So there's a lot to unpack there. The speech has been on my mind too. Let's start with the straw man, right? Nobody seriously thinks that just because America is a nation committed to ideals, that if you agree with the Declaration of Independence, then you get to move here and become a citizen. Like, he's just making that up so that he can knock it right down. But then he goes on to basically say that American ideals have nothing to do with what it means to be an American. What really matters is how long your family has been here, which is this kind of blood and soil nationalism that frankly cuts against exactly what makes America special. And one way to think about it is the fact that we have the word un-American, and that gets thrown around sometimes in some really irresponsible and ugly ways. But the fact we even think about that means that we have some sense that being American, being true to what America is all about, is related to your commitment to our freedoms and to the ideals that are laid out in the Declaration and in the Constitution. That matters in a way that I don't think you could be un-French or un-Japanese for a parallel reason. It's a huge part of what's special about America. It's a huge part of why America won the Cold War, is because our ideals, as well as our everyday life, were better. We've got to lay out a way of being American and belonging here that doesn't depend on whether your ancestors fought in the Civil War.
He could not be more spot on by that little bit that he talked about when it came to the word un-American. Right? I mean, think about what he just said. Can you be un-French? Can you be un-Japanese? Can you be un-Somalian? No, but you can be un-American. Why? Because being an American isn't about where you were born. It isn't about where your pappy came from. It's about what you do as a human being that makes you American. It's about whether or not you actually stand for American ideals, whether or not you stand for freedom, whether or not you stand for democracy, whether or not you stand for a nation that affords people the opportunities to do things that they've never done before. A nation that affords you the opportunity to live a life that one can only dream of sometimes. And I understand that there are opportunities and there are freedoms in other countries. There's something unique about it in the United States of America. There really is. And here's the thing. We can do freedom really, really well, and we can do freedom really, really badly. But at the end of the day, to be an American means something. It doesn't mean because J.D. Vance can write all the fucking books about being a faux hillbilly he wants. It doesn't mean that he knows the first fucking thing about being an American. Tom, he served. I don't give a rat's ass. Just because you've served doesn't exempt you from being an un-American asshole. My mother was born in the United States of America, in the Chicagoland area, in the Chicago suburbs. Maybe even in the city of Chicago. I don't remember exactly what hospital she was born at, but my mother was born here. She's an American citizen. Her father immigrated, my grandfather immigrated here from Sicily when he was a young boy. On my father's side of the family, my father was born here in Linton, Indiana. And his family traces back generations. They've been here for fucking generations. Is my father's family more American than my mother's family because they've been here longer? Because they've been here for generations upon generations? Where on my mother's side of the family, I'm second generation born in America on my mother's side. So which side do I get to claim? Do I get to claim the second generation born in America side, or do I get to claim the side that's been here forever? And which side to you is more American? To me, the side that's more American is the side that wants to live by the American ideals. They both want to, but the point being is it's not about where you were born or what blood you have. It's about who you are as a human being and how you want to live your life. What we're seeing coming out of the White House right now, what we're seeing coming out of the Republican side of politics right now is a very un-American position. A massive federal expansion of powers, federalize any city that we disagree with, pull press passes of reporters we don't like, sue press organizations into the ground that write unflattering stories of us, control what institutions put on display, so long as it adheres to the government's, the president's vision of history, control what private universities can teach. This is all grotesquely un-American. And oddly enough, the guy that the patriots would rip on first because of who's in his bed with him knows more about being an American than all of them combined. Seriously, they don't want him to be president because he's gay. I want him to be president because he gets what it means to be an American. Yeah, I'd rather take Pete Buttigieg than J.D. Vance any day of the week.